Puja, greetings. I am Sunnu Set Nehast Ra. Welcome to our early morning ancient Egyptian devotional dedicated to Goddess Ned and all her mystic forms, gods and goddesses, who are derived from her transcendental essence. The liturgy, which you will be able to see on screen, is recited in the ancient Egyptian language, the Medu Neter. English and Brazilian Portuguese translations is provided for you. You can see these translations on screen directly below the hieroglyphic text transliteration. You are welcome to participate by chanting along in your worship space or home or wherever you may happen to be during our service. Or you are also welcome to listen quietly in a contemplative mode. Following the devotional, Uashu in the Kemetic tongue, recitation of the liturgy, and meditation, Ua in the Kemetic tongue, practice, we will have a brief wisdom, Rek in the Kemetic tongue, teaching by Sehu Khepera Ankh, leader and priest of the Shatautneter Temple of Net. Before we begin, please remember to mute all devices. We will now begin. Presented on the screen at the moment is a stone-carved depiction of the facing pylons of the Temple of Net from the statue of Henat. On the left and right sides are the pylons in which one of the symbols of Goddess Ned sits atop a papyrus standard. Her emblem is her two arrows crossed and tied to her shield. This symbolizes the protection and resurrection of the soul within this place, the temple. Behind the emblems of Net on both sides are the flags, which mean Neter, divinity. In the center of the pylons, at the bottom, is the opening to the temple, and above that is a pyramidal structure which symbolizes the four equilateral planes of the universe and the mystic number 4. Above that, at the very top, is the cow hieroglyph symbol, which means rising. So it symbolizes the sun rising between the mountains, the Aket symbol, and for the initiate, the emergence of spirit consciousness. And Suma Punater Jedef Nesu Hetep Dimet Perkeru Menket Mert M Hep Set Neb Enkaen Gary Hep Hertep SSN M Hep Net Inat Ren F Jetta
Net nesut mehbu netehem inet. Jedef nesut hetep jinet perkeru. Minket nerim heb set neb en kain. Yeri heb hetep SSNM het net. Hinat ren es jeta.
Net Nesumer Puneter Emine Jedef Nesu Hetep Dinet Perkeru Menket Mert M Heb Set Ned Enkaen Gary had Hotep SSN M had Ned Inat Ren F Jedi
Ned Nesut Mehpuneterhem Ineb. Jedef Nesut Hetep Jinet Pihiru. Minkert Med Imheb Setneb in Kain. Yereheb Hetep SSN M Hetep Inat Ren F Jedi.
Ned Nesuma Punater Amine Jedef Nesu Hetep Dinet Perkeru Menket Mert En Heb Set Ned En Kain Yeri had Hotep SSN M had Net Inat Ren F Jedi
Net Nesut Mehpuneterhem Ineb. Jedef Nesut Hetep Jinet Pihiru. Minket Met Imheb Setneb in Kain. Yereheb Hetep SSN M Hetnet Hinat Ren F Jeta.
Net Nesuma Punater Amine Jedef Nesu Hotep Dinet Perkeru Menket Mert En Heb Set Ned En Kain Gary had Hotep SSN and had met Inat Ren F Jedi
Net Nesut Mehu Neterhem Ineb. Jedef Nesut Hetep Jinet Pehiru. Minkert Met Imheb Setneb in Kain. Yereheb Hetep SSN M Hetnet Inat Ren F Jeta.
Duamu Gerefu Benefen Heruakuti Anateje Kea Nefer Neruben
Duahamun Shet F Uben F N Heru Akhuchi Anetesh Herke Ra Neferneb Uben
Duamu Gerefu Benefen Heruakuti Anateje Kea Nefer Neruben
Duahamun Shet F Uben F N Heru Akhuchi Anetesh Herke Ra Neferneb Uben
Duamu Gerefu Benefen Heruakuti Anateje Kea Nefer Neruben
Duahamun Shet F Uben F N Heru Akhuchi Anetesh Herke Ra Neferneb Uben
Bamu Gerefu Benefen Heruakuti Anateje Kea Nefer Neruben
Duahamun Shet F Uben F N Heru Akhuchi Anetesh Herke Ra Neferneb Uben
Adi Jen Sekert, Aset Kef Uhu. Mesudi Hetep Neperkeru, Lidi Eska Amunet, Nefer Shepsi, Etnet, Hotep.
Nesudi Hetep net Perkeru, Didi Eska Oab Amuneb Nefer Shepsi, Etnet, Hetep.
Mesudi Hetep Neperkeru, Lidi Eska Amunet, Nefer Shepsi, Etnet, Hotep.
Nesudi Hetep net Perkeru, Didi Eska Oab Amuneb Nefer Shepsi, Etnet, Hetep.
Mesudi Hetep Neperkeru, Lidi Eskaua, Amunet Nefer Shepsi, Etnet, Hotep.
Nesudi Hetep net Perkeru, Didi Eska Oab Amuneb Nefer Shepsi, Etnet, Hetep.
Mesudi Hetep Neperkeru, Lidi Eskaua, Amunet Nefer Shepsi, Etnet, Hotep.
Nesudi Hetep net Perkeru, Didi Eska Oab Amuneb Nefer Shepsi, Etnet, Hetep.
Tua Shamsu en Nebuchadnezzar, Seshu en Keperu, Dua Asar, Nebrestal, Paunt, Netaru, Ata, Ami Netakert, Anatet Hir Kekenti, Amentet, Un Nefer Ab Abdu, Matentu, Ai, Ku, Annek Arati, Restal. Seteka Sekert, Aku Sari Nahas. Ubet Center, Set Enka, Def Sit Netar, Uni Entet, Hena Yash Leter, Asar, Erdit Endek, in Ari Peru, Hena Herme, Endes, Ari Peru, Aus Uatepi. Ari Sech, Ab Ua Letter, Abu Penha Asar, Abu Pen Asar, Spur M. Peru. Arit Bert, Nehast Sa Uajit Pa Neter Asar Ari Heru Het Aset Abu Yen Tuche. Meduje Yan Aset Sam Ujat Setep Saher Amseti Enti Amsa Asar Sa Amset Asar Amset Meduje Yan Nebet Het Apsheta Ari Besa Her Happy Enti Sa Asar Sa Happy Asar Hu Happy Meduje Yan Net Sedua Semeshe Ru Neb Ari Maket Duamutef Enti Amsa Asar Sa Duamutef Asar Pu Duamutef Meduje Yan Seket Inkake Sekedet Sa Ru Neb Ari Maket in Kwebsunev Entet Amsa Asar Sa Kwebsunev Asar Pu Kwebsunev Giza-Their Ambduat Chant Giza-Their Ambduat Chant Nebuchadnezzar Jed Anatej Het Asar Putra Makti Sake Setu Sakake
Nebejer Jed Anetej Hert Asar Putra Magdi Saki Setu Sakaki
Nebuchadnezzar Jed Anatej Het Asar Putra Makti Sake Setu Sakake
Nebejer Jed Anetej Hert Asar Putra Magdi Saki Setu Sakaki
Nebuchadnezzar Jed Anatej Het Asar Putra Makti Sake Setu Sakake
Nebejer Jed Anetej Hert Asar Putra Magdi Sake Setu Sakaki
Nebuchadnezzar Jed Anatej Het Asar Putra Makti Sake Setu Sakake
Nebejer Jed Anetej Hert Asar Putra Magdi Sake Setu Sakaki
Ari Jed Sikert Ari Duaker Hekau Uashu. Ned, Ned, Duanet, Sehu Khepera Ankh.
Net, net, duanet, sefek keras en hues.
Ned, Ned, Duanet, Sehu Khepera Ankh.
Net, net, duanet, sefek keras en hues.
Ned, Ned, Duanet, Sehu Khepera Ankh.
Net, net, duanet, sefek keras en hues.
Ned, Ned, Duanet, Sehu Khepera Ankh.
Net, net, duanet, sefek keras en hues.
Ah, boom, boom, boom.
Amor, mut consum.
Boom, boom, zoom.
Amor, mut consum.
Ah, boom, boom, zoom.
Amor, mut consum.
Ah, boom, boom, zoom.
Amor, mut consum.
Boom, polarization.
Om Amor Apta.
Boom, polarization.
Om Amor Apta.
Om Amudravata.
Om Amor Apta.
Om Amudravata.
Om Amor Apta.
Om Asara Sehu.
Om Asaya Setiru.
Om Asara Sehu.
Om Asaya Setiru.
Om Asara Sehu.
Om Asaya Setiru.
Om Asaya Sehu.
Om Asaya Setiru.
Peruba Keru.
Hiruma Kiru.
Peruba Keru.
Hiruma Kiru.
Peruba Keru.
Hiruma Kiru.
Keruma keru.
Keruma keru.
Se. Se. Se.
Ascend. Ascend. Ascend.
Se. Se. Se.
Ascend. 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 Ascend.
Depet ankuja sebe arireteru
Amau en Ra nepet ankoja seneb arineteru
maera depet ankuja sebe arireteru
Amau en Ra nepet ankoja seneb arineteru
amaera depet ankuja sebe arireteru
Amau en Ra nepet ankoja seneb arineteru
Maera depet ankuja sebe arireteru duara
Amau en Ra nepet ankoja seneb arineteru duara
Nuk atien keperu
Nuk hatien keperu
Nuk atien keperu
Nuk hatien keperu
Nuk atien Tien Keperu.
Nuk Hatien Keperu.
Nuk Atien Keperu.
Nuk Hatien Keperu.
Heru. 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 Heru.
Heteru. 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 Heteru.
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 Duatu heru. Duatu keru.
Dua tu heru. Dua tu keru.
Duatu heru. Duatu keru.
Dua tu heru. Dua tu keru.
Duatu heru. Duatu keru.
Dua tu heru. Dua tu keru.
Duatu heru. Duatu keru.
Dua tu heru. Dua tu keru.
Nuk Nebejer.
Nuk Nebeje.
Nuk Nebejer.
Nuk Nebeje.
Nuk Nebejer.
Nuk Nebeje.
Nuk Nebejer.
Nuk Nebeje.
Nefer Remtra in Aton.
Nefer Remtra in Atom.
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 Makeru with Ba Nebejer.
Makeru Emba Nebeje.
Makeru with Ba Nebejer.
Makeru Emba nebeje.
Makeru and Ba Nebeja.
Makeru emba nebeje.
Keru and Ba Nebeja.
Makeru emba nebeje.
Duk Wa Wa
Nuk wa kuwa.
Duk Wa Kuwa.
Nuk wa kuwa.
Duk Wa Kuwa.
Nuk wa kuwa.
Duk Wa Kuwa.
Nuk wa kuwa.
Nukmat, 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 Nukmat,
Nukmaat, 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 Nukmaat,
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 Nukut,
Nut,
Nukut,
Nut,
Nukut,
Nut,
Nukut,
Nut,
Newt,
Nut,
Asar, 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 Asar,
Asar, Asar, Asar, Asar,
Asar, Asar, Asar, Asar, Asar,
Asar, Asar, Asar, Asar, Asar.
Asar, 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 Asar.
Asa, 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 asa.
Asa, 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 asa,
Asa, asa, asa, asa, asa.
Pete au ankje, uas pena, nefu erkepitu, embeat, emdejasu, sunu ayam hote. Aset, ua suja heru, suja menut nebu sen F sen asar, aset hetepi, suja awuritu yasor, nesheshu nebu, emhu, shemu, metmetu, tau set, nebu nesteta, ua menti, Heru Kut, Tekin, Anat, Tesu, Kem, Hena Sefa, Ha Ra, Dijit Kat, Hena Asar, Peta, Keperu, Medut Ra, Kat, Nefi Asar, Keperu, Uahai, Uaker. Duk Aset, Perke, Nayet, Ret, Enal, Seter Sa Medu, and Jehuti. Hetep Maat, Empet, Ta'atert, Aset, Neter, Nefer, Ger, Pu Ankh Seske, SD, A, Ament, Sa, Enke, Pu F, NN, Au F, Ready F, Nepkep, Lit, Hetep, Fher, FT, and NF Tawi. Uahai, Uaker. Keru ma keru.
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 Nerai Mesra. Nerai Mesra. Nerai Ra. Ned Ai Mesra. Nuk Khepera Ambduat Ra Temu Ami Meseri.
Nuk Khepera Ankh Ra en Ahauf Temu Ami Mashri.
Nuk Khepera Ambduat Ra Temu Ami Meseri.
Nuk Khepera Ankh Ra en Ahauf Temu Ami Mashri.
Nuk Khepera Ambduat Ra Temu Ami Meseri.
Nuk Khepera Ankh Ra en Ahauf Temu Ami Mashri.
Wahai Uwaka. Says, netter, boo, never, Jesseri, si netter, netter, ooh, never, Jesseri, si netter, netter, ooh, never, Jesseri, si netter, ooh, never, Destiny, Ziferi, Washedi, Watefaha. Ra and Hetep. Emma, and Hetep. Emma, and Hetep. Emma, Emma, Peace, 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 peace. Hetep, Nua, Hetep.
Dua, Hetep.
Good job. Greetings, everyone. So as promised, I'm going to show you the mock-up of the goddesses. Mm. So remember on we discussed the mask of Tutankhamun, and there are two goddesses on his mask at the forehead. And this is something I put together to try to explain how the goddess powers work through creation and the universe, the goddess energy. So at the very top, you have Goddess Ned. Here she represents transcendent existence, absolute. This is a diagram to explain things that you don't ordinarily detect with your senses. So this saying that is a transcendent existence, and having a picture of her here is kind of contradictory because you can't perceive with your senses a transcendental existence. But for diagrammatic purposes, for teaching purposes, using you see that I use all black to represent non-fabrication, non-duality, and then just an outline of her body to indicate she is a transcendent, all-encompassing existence. And then she generates a portion of herself that tends towards polarization, towards duality. And that's what this serpent in the center is here with the four wings. So tending towards duality. And here she is here with her her crown of the spool on her head. So dedicating that to the south. And then with the red crown. This is her also with the red crown, so dedicating her to the north. So this is a potentiality for polarization. Tendency towards polarization hasn't occurred yet. But as she moves down another step, and she actually polarizes, has a set on the left and Nebehet on the right. And then behind them are their aspects that are seen on the mask of Tutankhamun. So Nekabet and Wadjet. So at this level, there is a polarization. And then from that comes the multiplicity of the goddess energy forms that sustains creation. So if you're at the polarization form and you bring these two together at the center of your forehead, talking in spiritual practice, working with the life force energy process. It's going to lead you to a non-duality. It's going to lead you to the transcendent. If you stay there long enough and continue to depolarize. And these are spiritual practices that are done, certain special meditation exercises, etc. So just you can see that there's a polarization process, and that's why you think of yourself as an individual human being with an individual polarity. So if you're a male personality, you believe yourself to be a male personality because you have polarized yourself to that end. And for females, the same thing. But if you do certain spiritual exercises, you can depolarize yourself and discover your non-dual essence. So that's a little introduction into what we're going to cover today. And just one other point, so we can go to the next slide too. This point is you see here, you see Goddess Ned at the top. So she's synonymous with Nebuchadnezzar, the all-encompassing divinity. And she's also known as Entet, the absolute existence, and the great divine with no name, no attributes. And that's what the net Duanet Sepekera Senues chant is about, that you want to take off her forms or the external appearance to discover her transcendental essence. And there's a lot to this slide as well that we don't have time. These slides are covered in detail in our goddess classes that meets on Monday nights if you want to join those. So now I'm going to okay. So this portion of the text will probably take a couple distillations because there's some important and sophisticated principles that come out of it. So recall the last time we covered up until here. We went up until here, from here. So this area. And so today we're going to go from here to here. And in this region, there are certain serious issues that you're faced with in studying this teaching. Recall the last time we also discussed the mask of Tutankhamun, and that's what we were just talking about. So those goddesses now are purged. They went through a depolarization process. is bringing the goddesses together at the center. And then what's going to happen is you stay here and you keep concentrating and you're going to depolarize yourself. So you're bringing the two goddesses together to reveal the absolute nature beyond them. Now, recall the last time we spoke about the Iwa, the inheritance. And now we're going to go further into that principle today, which was related to the Ake. See, this part of the text, there's a lot to deal with. So we might stay here for a little bit. Iwa, the Dawi, Hetep, Ned, her S, Mer, Meripet. Thus, your inheritance, that your two lands will be in peace, that is full and without demarcation. This peace is perennial and is not subject to the whims and movements of time and space phenomena. Therefore, this peace is related to the union of opposites within yourself, in that the two lands, higher and lower self, are united. Thus, there is no tension or contention within the regions of the empire of the soul. This dissolution of opposites is caused by binding oneself to the love of the divine. This love is not a mundane love, but an opening of the heart to the divine, in which one discovers the unitary nature of the self. Thus, in this kind of love of God, there is no need for the two lands to be in contention, because there is a unitary essence that pervades them, and thus the underlying spiritual unity is found. And from this realization of the love of the divine, the seemingly apparent opposites are subsumed under the essence of the one essential divine. This is your inheritance, that the two lands are in peace, because the essence of the inner reality is found to pervade all apparent dualities. And thus there is the non-dual realization. Your love of heaven, the essence of spirit-like consciousness, has brought you to this non-dual place where you have discovered the underlying reality of appearances. Thus, in this love of the divine, the causative factor of non-dual realization has immense implications, that discontinues the misapprehension of the truth of the inner reality of being. So Iwa, here's the determinative for this term. And it's like a piece of beef. But it doesn't mean that you're inheriting beef. It means that you're inheriting something of substance, something of truth. And this term is a common term today, Hetep or Hotep. So you are inheriting Hetep. And this term, Hetep, relates to an an offering mechanism, an offering formula, the Hetep offering, which is, and there are actual Hetep slabs. I'll probably pull out a photo of one for you next time. And and you pour water over it, and you come down to a central spout, and you collect the water, and the water flows over certain elements that depict duality. But all of that dual stuff comes to a central region, and therefore it's a flow from duality to non-duality. And that's what Hetep means. Hetep means the union of opposites. And that therefore it can be loosely extrapolated to peace. And the reason why is that with that unification of the polar opposites that express within your mind, your feelings, your body, you reduce the misapprehension of separateness, separateness of yourself within yourself, the feeling of separateness that causes feelings of loneliness, of want, of craving, for company and uh and objects, and bringing things into yourself to experience some semblance of wholeness. But since you're doing those things through the prism of a dual perception, it doesn't bring hetep, it doesn't bring peace. But if you were to go through a spiritual program where you discover your essential androgynous nature, your what happens is that the tension that is produced by the effects of the polarization becomes mitigated, is reduced. And if you take that farther, and you discover your non-dual nature, then you realize that then that tension that's produced by the polarization is is eliminated. So you come to a state of rest. And that's another principal idea, concept of Hetep is rest. And by rest here, I mean the habitual tendency towards polarization that ends. So you come to rest, you come to a state of inner peace and calm and tranquility. And whatever is occurring in the world, you are not subject. You in other words, you are not moved by the changes in time and space because you are resting in your non-dual nature. What occurs in time and space, whatever that is, you're not reactionary, but you're a silent witness observer, and you do things for the benefit of the mundane reality. Like if a truck is going to run over you, you're not just going to stand there, you're going to get out of the way of the truck. If you get a cold, you'll up your vitamin C intake, and you'll get some physical rest. If you stub your toe or something, or you have to go to that, you'll get the stitches, whatever. If a hurricane is coming, you're not in a frenzy. You're not fearful. You're cautious, and you're practical. You're pragmatic about things, but you're not fearful and in a frenzy about it. You're not irritated because you're at rest. You're at Hetep. And this term, Tawi, means two lands. And in this context, it's relating to the context that is produced by the term Hetep. So the context is that you're polarized. There's a duality. So it relates to the higher and lower self. But that the tension that is produced by your higher and lower nature is sublimated under Hetep. So one day you might be feeling good on yourself, you're nice and relaxed, you're calm. And so you're in your higher mind, you're in your more relaxed state. And then the next day or the next moment, someone cuts you off on the highway, or someone says one wrong thing, or uh, you forgot to pay a bill, or a bill collector calls you or something. You're angry, you're upset, you're mad, now you're into your lower nature. So you're polarizing your two lands, your higher and lower nature. But if you were to discover your Hetep, then the tension between these two lands, your higher and lower nature, would be sublimated. and it will be transmuted into your resting in your non-dual nature. And therefore, you would discover that the lower nature is an illusory aspect of a higher mystical reality. And therefore, you will lose the tension pull of the lower nature because you'll realize the truth behind it. And you realize how its impulses are produced. And therefore, that indicates a deep cleansing of the unconscious mind. And how you cleanse the unconscious, what do you do to cleanse your unconscious mind? Is the art of meditation. That's one aspect. The second aspect is right thinking. The third aspect is right acting. So meditation, right thinking, right acting equates to purity of the unconscious. And that the purity of the unconscious establishes you in Hetep. But this text is detailing a specific kind of Hetep. And that comes from this term, Hetep Neb, meaning all peace, a fullness of restfulness. So it's indicating a kind of a perennial resting, a perennial resting that is unbroken, that is not subject to the whims of time and space, movement. Because think about it, if you are at rest, it means that you are existing, you are abiding in something that is unfabricated and immovable. And therefore, whatever moves appears as an illusion. And therefore, you cannot be disturbed by it. And that's what Neb indicates. An allness, a fullness, a completeness of restfulness, meaning you're situated and you're established in your realization of Hetep. And this is your Iwa. This is your divine inheritance. How do you inherit this? We spoke about this a little last week. Through self-discovery of your higher spirit nature. So you have to go to the Akat region. You have to go beyond the horizon of the lower mind. And there's much more to say about that. So we're going to stop here for today. And we're going to pick up here next week. So we did this region. And next week we're going to see how far we get. You can see that this is, this is rich. This is chock full of wisdom, philosophy, etc. That if we were to do a full distillation, it will take a long time. Because this whole talk that we did today could take an hour, as people in the Ambduat class and the goddess class are aware of. And you can join those classes, or you just send an email to sehuankh@gmail.com. Yes. SEHUANKH@gmail.com. And the date for the Ambduat Chant session has been set to February 8th at 6:30 p.m. So it's going to go from 6:30 to 8. It's free to whoever wants to do it. So you'll check the Facebook for the link, and check the Facebook and our social media for information and flyer, etc., to come out soon. And for that, you'll dress comfortably uh, in plain clothing or uh, comedic clothing with comedic iconography. So no worldly images or advertising or anything like that. So either plain clothing, or if you want to wear a t-shirt with comedic something on it. Um, so loose fitting clothing, there's going to be breathing exercise, and then the chanting, etc. So you'll see how the Ambduat text is functional and leads to to certain metaphysical states you can get into, etc. So that's February 8th. So look out for the notices for that. So dua everyone, until we meet again. Hetep.